Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again on this Sunday morning is Colin Mitchell.
Yep, yep,
Colin,
yep, yep.
how you feeling? How you doing?
It's raining outside. I wanted to be in bed still, but doing great. We won.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
won.
I meant to get. My goal was to not goal, but it's like I want to have a different drink for every time we do this podcast, with the Capri Suns
Mm.
to all the whatever we have in my fridge. I have I forgot the name of it. But anyways, I have a drink, but I'm gonna stick to a water this morning. So
You
that's
know what
okay.
you
Jarritos. I have a Jarritos in the fridge.
okay? You know what you should get though? They should all be kids drinks. So you had the Capri Sun, the Kool-Aid. I think they're called Kool-Aid Jammers or whatever. You need to get remember the bug juice that you get in like the tiny bottle.
Yeah. Are you talking about like the square bottles?
Maybe
Or
they were
no?
square. It's called like bug juice or beetle juice or something like that. And it was like you have to like it had the top like I don't have one where
I'm
you
thinking
tilt
of
it
the
up.
high C's. I want those little high C's. The those.
What's it? Bug juice, man. Oh yeah, yep. Let me send you a picture real quick because I need you to see these.
I can share my screen on the podcast. We're gonna really
We take a picture
get to the
and we
bottom of
send
this.
it.
Share screen.
Oh,
Here
I
we
just
go.
sent. Yeah, I just sent it to you.
It doesn't matter. I'm putting it on the podcast right now. There you go.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
which probably won't work because I'm having to post produce this in OBS, so sharing my screen is probably not the right decision, but whatever. More work for me. But all right. Um I will look into that.
Yep.
So
For a
thank you.
pack of 24, it's $36. It's probably not worth it, but
$36. No, we're not doing that. But okay. North Texas La Tech, Colin. North Texas wins 47-27. For the most part, it was a convincing win. I thought they should have blown them out from the beginning. I mean, from beginning to end, they let La Tech come back, cut it to 7 a couple times, which kind of unsettled me. 34-27 was the most unsettling. I was like, are they really
blow
gonna
this.
let them come all the way back?
Yeah.
And but they closed the game out well in the fourth quarter, scoring 13 points. You have Ethan Mooney back from whatever his suspension was in the first half. I thought it was funny. Him and Larry Nixon were suspended for the first half, and I was like, I wasn't expecting Ethan Mooney and Larry Nixon to, if they were together for this, whatever
Yeah.
they did. I was just like, okay, the kicker and the linebacker were out partying or something. I was like, okay, but still, get them back for the second half. And for the most part, North Texas cruised outside of, like I said, when La Tech made it a 7-point game in the third quarter. So overall, I think it was good that North Texas took care of business and did what we expected them to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who was right in the predictions
I
category, but
was.
who was?
I was in the score prediction.
You were? Okay. What was your prediction?
I'm pretty sure I said 45-34.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Um, so the overhits, North Texas wins. What are you thinking about
I actually disagree with you on them coming back thing. Just because,
on Louisiana Tech coming back?
yeah, and Louisiana Tech coming back. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Just
you're good.
because whenever they like the touchdowns they scored, I guess they weren't fluky, but it was like it had to be a big play. That was the only way they were gonna get it done. You had Smoke Harris have that really long run to get them. I think it was to the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
And then you had that pass over the top of I forgot who.
everybody. But yeah,
Everybody, yeah.
it was like,
But
yeah, they dropped it and they just
but there wasn't really like a convincing drive where I was like, "Yep, Louisiana Tech's gonna come back and do this." Like I didn't really feel that way. But I did feel that North Texas could score anytime down, anytime they
yeah.
got on the field.
I
So
mean,
they did basically, I guess. But so that's why I wasn't really that concerned whenever it got cut to 7 twice. I thought Austin Aune looked really good. I really like the way that Seth is mixing up the plays as well. They keep doing the direct snaps to the running backs,
yeah,
Wildcat. It's refreshing to see almost, because those are the things that we missed from Graham from a long time ago, where it was like, where is the creativity in this offense? And it's finally, showing.
Yeah, last podcast I had said that they were maybe becoming more of a passing offense, and they come out and rush for almost 500 yards, 300 over 300 yards in the first half, 484 yards on the game. All four running backs got plenty of carries. All four running backs ended up with over 60 yards.
Yeah.
And then Kalen Horton on a couple end arounds and some different plays ends up with 97 yards on 3 carries. And I mean, he's just fast. Kalen
Yeah,
Horton's fast.
I was like, okay, this is why they want to get the ball in his hands.
Which we knew the whole time with his, whether it's kickoff returns or the previous end arounds that he's done. We knew he was fast. And I had never really had a problem getting him the ball. The question was just like, is this transfer from, I think it was Tarleton, is he going to be their game-changing player? And I
Right.
guess he is to a degree. I mean, even though obviously we'll talk about whether it's Jair or Varkey's Gums and those guys, but Austin Aune went 11 of 20, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. And the pick I think was just right before half. Well, it was right before half.
Yeah.
So it became a running attack again. And so I think you mentioned it. They're able to mix up plays well. Seth feels like he's comfortable with where he's at as a play caller, as far as if they need to air it out, they can, and if they need to run in the ball, they can. And they got 4 running backs and a pretty good offensive line. So that's what we've been saying the entire year.
And
It's like
Tech is an awful defensive line. That's what I
yes,
saw.
La Tech's run defense is atrocious. Like
Yeah.
you can't overstate, and this is why coming into the game, we both had North Texas winning this game by 2 or 3 possessions. Like La Tech's defense has been bad the entire year. You can say their
Yeah.
schedule was tough. I'm just gonna say that they're not a good defense. Do you allow UTEP to score 31 points on you? You're not a good
Yeah, I
defense.
mean,
And
I feel
so,
like every time North Texas got on the field and they ran the ball, it was always to the second level, every rush, no matter what. And I was like, and everyone was doing it. It wasn't even just Oscar or Adey. It was everybody was doing it.
I mean, you allow Ayo Day to run for a 92-yard touchdown. You should quit football at that point. And Iowa Day is a very good running back. I mean, for North Texas, he's a good back. But 92-yard run where after he got like 3 yards down the field, he was untouched. It was
Yeah.
just like, it was disgusting.
And then
But yeah,
Kalen Horton, he could have scored on any 3 of those carries that he had.
yes, 92-yard run for Ayo Day. I feel like I always say his name wrong. Iowa Day, whatever. Oscar Attaway had a 32-yard run. Horton had a 66-yard run. Isaiah Johnson had a 28-yard run. Kaika Ragsdale 42-yard run. It was disgusting. Louisiana Tech was without its best defensive player, they said on the broadcast. So, it is what it is. But offensively, they took care of business. Ani had a really, really, really good touchdown throw to Varkey's Gums.
Yeah.
Like that pass was elite. I thought it was a great throw. And the Jair Shorter ball, give him a chance. 1-on-1, 51-yard touchdown. We always been saying give Jair Shorter a chance. One catch, 51-yard touchdown. So him and Varkey's were the receivers that stood out.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then that pick at the end, I couldn't really tell. Maybe you could tell a little bit more off the broadcast, but I couldn't tell if it was just because it got fumbled between Jair and the defensive back's hands, or whether it was just a bad throw.
I didn't mind it because I feel like they were trying to make a play late in the half. So
like it wasn't like it was like a some guy cut a
it was just funny.
cut a
It was
route
just
and
funny
then
because on the broadcast, the I forget who was the color commentator next to Kyle Humans was like, just don't throw an interception here because against FAU, he threw a pick, or I don't remember pick six or whatever it was. He turned it over and gave FAU life before a half, and then the next play on, he just takes a shot to the end zone and throws a pick. And he's like, "Oh well, that's what I was talking about. Can't do that."
I didn't even, I don't even have the broadcast turned up when I watch these games. So
yeah. So yeah, good offensive showing. It was exactly what we expected, pretty much. I mean, at least it's good that they did what we expected, I guess, on that front. But in a game where we both had the total being extremely high, I'm trying to look up our predictions right now. Yeah, I had them scoring 38. You had them scoring 45. You had 45-30.
Oh,
So
okay. I get the point then.
you get the
Pig.
point. You get the point for that. So good prediction on your part. You've been pretty good at predictions this entire year.
Except for that one. What was the game?
I mean, you had FAU winning last week, so that was
That's what it
wrong.
was. That was the one I got wrong.
But everything else, I mean, you had UNLV winning. Yeah. So you had SMU right. Good job.
Wow.
All right. I think that's enough offensive praise. Good job from the offense. It'll get significantly harder as the year goes on. I mean, La Tech is literally one of the worst defenses in the conference, and that's a
Yep.
conference that includes FIU in it. So
Yep.
defensively, hold on, I'm trying to look up just to make sure that I'm right. Yeah, Louisiana Tech's run defense, this is according to EPA, which is College Football Graphs. Louisiana Tech's run defense is ranked 130th in the country.
So worst or second
I don't
worst?
know. I don't know what happened. Yeah, someone is worse. 131. I don't know where it is. I'm not gonna look through it right now. Just kidding. I'm looking through it right now. But I don't see it. 131, 101. We're too high. But anyways, yeah, I don't know what happened to Louisiana Tech. That fall off is crazy because they used to be perennial, contenders in the West, and so now for them to be this bad is a bit concerning. But North Texas takes advantage of it. If we look at the other side of the ball, I thought North Texas defense was fine. For the most part, they did allow La Tech's Parker McNeil at quarterback to go 26-37 for 424 yards, 2 touchdowns. Some of those in garbage time, yes. 7 sacks obviously stand out. Rod Brown I thought was really good.
Yep.
Mason Richards had a bunch of tackles. So you highlight those two. I thought Deshaun Gaddy made a play or two. Rich Tejada made a play or two. I mean, Katie Davis, 19 tackles, 11 of which
Yeah.
were solo. That's what we have been waiting for from Katie,
Yeah.
right? It's been a lot of 8 tackle games, 10 tackle games, and we're like, okay, Katie Davis is putting up some tackles, but is he making a difference
Play.
in the
Yeah.
game? And 19 tackles, I mean, no matter how you get them, you're making a play at some point. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to really highlight here.
I'm just glad they finally got to the quarterback and they finally
Yes.
got some tackles for loss because I feel like that's what we've been waiting for up to this point. Now, again, I don't know how. I mean, obviously, you could 100% tell how bad Louisiana Texas defensive line was. I don't know how good or bad their offensive line is, or if North Texas had a good game. But it was definitely good to see that they were actually putting pressure on the quarterback in to a team that's not UTEP, and obviously they seem worse than UTEP now. So
Yeah, well, I put them probably on a similar level. They played and it was a close game and La Tech won. Also, I found the 131st ranked run defense at University of South Florida. So, Seth, if you want to call up USF next year for an emergency game,
yep.
do it. Do it. But yeah, I don't have too much to take away. The run defense, you held them to 2.1 yards per carry. Obviously, that includes sacks, so really it's probably around 3 or so. But the defense played all right. I'm not gonna say they played great, but they played okay, and the offense got the job done. So I don't have anything more on this game off the top of my head, but good win at home, 3-0 in conference. Everybody loves throwing around 8 straight conference wins. I think that's what it is. No,
Yeah.
it is. That is what it is. And so now, Colin, let's look ahead. Actually, let's not just look ahead.
Wait. Let's do our pick'em.
Oh, that's right. The pick 'em.
Come
Sorry.
on.
All right, Jair Shorter over under 1.5 touchdown passes receptions. I said over. You said under. Colin was right. 72 points. I said under. Colin said over. Colin was right.
Mm-hmm.
Ani, 3.5 touchdown passes. We both said over. We were both
Wrong.
incorrect. La Tech over under 1.5 turnovers. I said under. You said over, and
The under hit, I think.
was the under. Unless there were fumbles that I'm forgetting about, but all right. And then Colin gets the score prediction right. So that puts Colin up 16-14. Our pick 'em. I really thought they'd throw the ball more. I wasn't expecting La Tech's run defense just to be abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, but if they don't have to, why would you?
Exactly. So, all right, Colin is right. Now, I don't want to look too far ahead. Actually, we probably should just end this podcast before I start
What?
ranting about how big the UTSA game
No,
is.
we're not.
Because
We're not doing that. That's Thursday's podcast. But I do have a question that I want to ask about where they are right now, because
okay,
up to this point, we had them 4-3. It's come differently. I've called for Seth to be fired at the end of the season. Is it even if you swap the UNLV game with the with the FAU game?
FAU.
Yeah, if you swap the UNLV loss with an FAU loss and then UNLV win, are we still sitting here kind of disappointed? I mean, I'm not disappointed right now, but you know what I mean. Like the feeling isn't completely back. Like is are we just a victim of
Here's the
the?
thing.
I know. Tell me, please.
Here's the thing. The difference is, and why it's important that they beat FAU, is the fact that there is a chance, which we talked about this last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance they can win the conference
Yes, but
because this conference is not very good outside of UTSA. UTSA is the only team I'm giving credit for being good in this conference. I think Western's okay. I think UAB's okay. UTSA is very good, is a very good team. So with that being said, there's a chance they can win the conference, or at least, I think they're still having a conference championship game, even with 11 teams. I hope they are. If you can make a conference championship game like that, it's still in reach. And that's why it's different. If they had lost to FAU and beaten UNLV, we'd be like, well, they're not going to win the conference. They're not going to do this. They're probably going to go 6-6,
but
7-5.
see
Go
the
ahead.
difference there was that we predicted those losses and wins. Like we said, these are who they're going to lose to. These are who they're going to win, and we were going to be okay with that 100%. Whereas until they beat FAU, or even after they beat FAU, we were still like, is it still in the mediocrity, type of
They
place?
still are. Yes.
So
Okay. Yes.
I'm asking, is that unfair of us?
I don't think I'm trying to make sure I answer what you're asking. I don't think it's unfair. I think the goalposts are still in the same place we've put them in
Yeah.
early in the season. And I don't think, and I want to get more into this on like the UTSA podcast, but the goalpost is still where we had it at.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a season to remember. You have to have a season that's going to get everybody's attention. And I said you have to do it going 7-5, um, going 7-5 in the regular season and being, winning games you're supposed to win and being competitive in other games. And this is a conference that's not very good at this point, in my opinion. When you take out a team like Marshall, and even though Southern Miss was not very good either, but at this point, 4-3, you have UTSA, Western, UAB, and Rice. And Rice hung in there with FAU. I think they're about on
And
the same
FIU.
level with FAU. What was that?
You forgot FIU too.
Yeah, they beat. Oh yes. Well, I purposely forgot them, Colin. Honestly, I don't know if you've been checking their scores, but
No,
it's kind of.
I just their
It
team.
might be. It's. They're literally the worst team in the country. It's incredible. But anyways, you have that schedule left, and this is going to be the stretch that decides what Seth can do. Even if they do lose to UTSA, and again, I want to get into all this in like on Thursday podcast or whenever we do it. Even if they did lose to UTSA, they still control their own destiny, and that's what I make sure we understand here. But I will not, and I repeat, I will not lower the significance of this UTSA game for what it could mean for Seth Luttrell and this
Right.
program.
Yeah.
So that's all ahead, and we'll get into that later. But I don't think we've moved the goalposts. I think that there is now, like you said, we've predicted 4-3. They're 4-3. Awesome. Now you get into UTSA, Western, UAB, and Rice. All right, that's 4 games that are going to be pretty tough at this point. And not for nothing, the UNLV loss continues to look pretty bad. They just got blown out by Air Force last night. So with all that being said, I'm excited. What do you
Okay.
think? What are your thoughts at?
I guess now that you explained it, I guess it would be the same thing because up to this point, yeah, they're 4-3, but they have a lot of wins, but they're against bad teams.
Yes.
So their 4 wins are all against not great teams, and then you have losses where you're not competitive against SMU. Memphis was, but UNLV wasn't. So I guess, yeah, I guess we're not unfair. It's just like you said, how do they perform against UTSA, a Western, a UAB? I think they have to go. I think you have to win against one of the good teams. Like they can't come out on the rest of the season, win against FIU, win against Rice, and win against UAB, and then lose against Western, UTSA, and then
Well, they
with
have
that
to.
fun.
They have to, because if not, they go 6-6.
Well, no, I'm saying they get those 3 wins. So I'm saying if they lose against UTSA and Western, and they get the remaining 3 to get to the 7
Okay.
from Rice, UAB, FIU, I think unless you have, like you said, because the conference is so bad, unless you have at least UTSA make it really, really close and convincing that you're on the same level. And then same with Western, like you need to, win that game, hopefully. Which I guess whichever one's better, Western or UAB, you can toss them up there.
Yeah.
You have to win against one of those
those.
teams in a good fashion, because
Interesting.
otherwise you're coming in here and you're like, yep, they got to the 7 wins, but they beat UTEP, Texas Southern, FAU, Louisiana Tech is one of the worst defenses. FIU, who lost 73-0 to Western Kentucky. UAB, who may or may not be good, and then Rice. You know what I mean? So it's like, how did you get those 7 wins?
It's true.
So
it's true. It would be one of the. There's a strength of record metric somewhere out there.
Yeah.
That I'd have to find, but like that schedule that you just said, like even if let's say they go 6-6 and they lose to UAB, but they beat FIU, Rice, and their wins are like you said, FIU, Rice, La Tech, Texas Southern, UTEP, and FAU. It's one of the least impressive 6-win seasons
ever
in the country.
History.
And like that, it's not. So like you said, you have to get one of those wins against UTSA, Western, or UAB. The thing is, all 3 of those games are on the road.
Yep.
That makes it even more interesting.
Yep.
That makes it even more difficult, and that makes it to where if you're Seth Luttrell, and this is why it's such a big, last half of the season, Seth Luttrell is going to have to do something he hasn't done, which is prove it that he can win a big game when it matters.
Yep. Because
these are championship games, pretty much. Not for him. For him,
yeah,
it has the same significance to me. Like UTSA on the road, if you win it, Western on the road, UAB on the road. These are his championship games, and they need to be approached like that. And I think we'll get into the UTSA game later, but because of the significance of being like, wow, we can still win the conference.
Mm-hmm.
It is a de facto championship type game, and that's how it needs to be played in their head, at least.
Yep, and not only that is if you get those 7 wins and say Western, say you get one of those wins against a Western or UAB, and they turn out not to be very good at the end of the season, and the bowl game comes around and you kind of flub the bowl game, we're having a completely different conversation about whether those 7 wins were enough. For him to keep his job, because up to this point, I think that's why I asked that question where. Have we been unfair when we predicted him to 4-3 and you said no? And you're right, because it's, who have they won against? And like you said, they have to prove that they can win on the road, which Seth has never done. So it'll be interesting. We'll get into the UTSA game specifically on Thursday, but yeah.
I'm excited for the UTSA game. That's all I'll say.
Me
if
too.
I was in Texas, I'd be there.
Well, yeah, you live in San Antonio, or lived. Yeah, but you can sometimes live there.
Temporary residence.
Yeah. Wait. Does your license have Texas or Louisiana?
It still has Texas.
You still live in San Antonio then.
It still has Texas. Yeah, I mean it's on my license or my driver's license, so you're right about that technically. All right. There you have it. Fun podcast. I'm ready for the UTSA pod. I think we'll do it on Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days. I'm not sure which one. But we'll do all that. That's all we got for y'all today. We hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. I think we're at 95 or 96 subs now on YouTube. Shout out the YouTube channel. Again, we are getting 97, Colin. 97.
Hey, if we don't get 100 by the end before the UTSA game, I don't even know what to say. These are our new 5-star rankings on Apple that we don't.
Yeah, I know. We hit 50. We hit 50 plus on Apple.
We're
moving on.
And then we also got like some 1-star or 4.5 by somebody, and I was like, burn it down.
Burn it.
Delete.
Delete the whole podcast. But yeah, anyways, Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Send to a friend. Let us know what you think in the comments below or on our
Is
Twitter.
that Spotify
You
right
could
there? I
follow
can't
us
tell.
on Spotify. You want to do Spotify first? Spotify over above
Spotify,
Colin,
Facebook.
and we can do Facebook right above me, the Green Room UNT. And there are our Twitters right there at Matthew Brune _ and at Colin Mitchell,
Boom.
CJH Mitchell, whatever it is, whatever his middle name is.
Whatever it is. Wow.
But yeah, we appreciate y'all for joining us, and we will talk to y'all later.